Hello and what's up, guys? It is your big guy, Daddy Africa. And with me on this specific episode is an amazing friend of mine. But before that, I need to tell you what we're going to discuss. We're going to dive into a conversation on gender-based violence, and as I said, with my amazing friend. So with that, let's get into it. So guys, as I have told you, we're going to dive into a discussion about gender-based violence. And I couldn't find a better person than you to come and join me on this episode of my talk with Daddy Africa. So I'll let you introduce yourself and then we get into the discussion. Karibu sana.
Okay, thank you. My name is Cathy Wamucii Ndegwa. I am the CEO or founder of the initiative Voices Against Violence, and thank you for having me.
Karibu sana. It's an honor to have you on this amazing platform. So, as I said, the discussion is we are just having a conversation on gender-based violence.
Okay.
Because I've seen a lot of people are talking about it, and now people are more aware of the type of violence or violation that occurs to them. So, our first pointer will be on the rape culture.
Yes.
People have normalized and are trying to make it a blame game. So you could tell us more about the rape culture with what has been happening currently.
Okay, thank you. I'd like not to term it as rape culture,
Yes.
but it's true, it has been there.
Yeah.
And it has been normalized because basically because why we're having a blame game is because the women are becoming more how do I say this, they're becoming more empowered.
Yes.
And the men over time they have been believing that they are overruling the women, and this is because women in the old times, one, they were not very much educated than the men, so the men would rule over them and they'll do anything because they are the ones with power.
Yes.
Now, because it was a culture then,
Yes.
anything will happen and the woman will not talk because she has no voice in the society. That is why it has been named as a rape culture. But with time and with what we can see like clearly, here we are making a voice. We're not going to term it as culture, but it has been a very, very long discussion. And it doesn't end now.
Yeah.
And I don't know when, but it will end soon because the women are becoming empowered. But over time, I'd like it not to be called culture.
Yeah, definitely. Even as we have dived into the conversation already about the rape culture, but you wouldn't call it the rape culture, some people are wondering what rape is and who does it happen to. We normally know the society imefanya ikae like it's only women, but there are also men who get raped. And I also got to read some comments, some reposts, that even people in marriages can be raped if it's the husband to the wife or the other way around. Yeah, so at what point does it come? Well, can someone say I was raped?
Well, Google-wise or term-wise, rape is any forceful insertion of anything, whether reproductive parts or objects of a different person or the same person. It can be sodomization, it can be molestation. It's all termed as rape. Rape exactly is the insertion. As long as there was penetration in any area of a person, that is rape. Well, sexual assault is different because you can be sexually assaulted by touch. When someone is verbally attacking you in sexual ways that you don't want. But rape is that, and anyone can. I have seen this guy. I'm so sorry, I don't remember his name.
Yes.
But there's this guy who was brave enough to come out to the social media and say, you know what?
Yeah.
I was raped and this is what happened to me, and I am here to stand up for the men. And the social media was crazy because people do not understand why a man would. And now because of that, people were saying he's weak.
Yes.
He's not a man. He's not fit for the society. But that is what we have normal, because our traditional terms have termed a man to be very strong and
masculine,
very
does not face issues like rape.
Exactly.
Like he's secure.
Yes. And that is wrong because many times, or many men in the past or even now have many mental issues because whatever they are showing is not what they are.
Yeah.
So anyone can, even in marriages, where actually in marriages, it happens as coercion, because coercion is insisting something to happen, like physically or sexually to happen, but the other person doesn't want to until they agree, but it's against their will. So mostly, but it also happens that the person can say no, and it is, you know what, I don't care, this is going to happen. And anyone, I will say anyone. And it is a term that is told that never say it will never happen to you, because once you say it does. Yes.
And there are very specific pointers that I had outlined on there's emotional abuse and there's catcalling. Would you say catcalling is kind of also an emotional abuse, or what about emotional abuse, and that is actually a violation that people are not aware about?
Emotional abuse, and I am not saying that I am 100%.
Yes.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but emotional abuse happens more when you're either in a partner relationship or someone you know close can emotionally abuse you by talking very hurtful words. And that might, especially where you're insecure, mostly they usually attack the places that they know you're insecure about. Let's say you feel like you're too thin or you're too fat, then that is where they can be like, mostly if you don't want to engage in the sexual encounter, and they're like, that is why you're too thin, that is why you're too fat, and it gets to you. You get self-esteem issues, you get mental issues, emotionally. People who are close to you abuse you so much. And catcalling mostly happens with people who you do not know. Some people, men and women, they say it's fine. Some, true, it's okay, because some they want that validation that if I'm not catcalled, there's something wrong with me. I'm not pretty enough. Am I handsome enough? Yeah, but sometimes I'd say, let's say an example. I have had a rough day at home or at school or at work. I am emotionally drained, physically drained. I am at my last point. And someone out in the street start catcalling me. And when I don't respond, they abuse me. That will be a breaking point. So I don't agree to catcalling. And I hope it will stop. I definitely don't like catcalls.
I'm really hoping that us as a society, we will style up, because I don't think I can find a better word of describing that. We really need to style up. And whenever, okay, this is especially to guys, and even I did this on the KK Production podcast. We were discussing about gender-based violence. And I was telling the guys, if you're really impressed by how a lady looks, or you are attracted to a lady, go talk to her in a respectable manner, like the way you would want to. You're trying to get her. You're trying to get her attention. So you really need to be respectful. And another last aspect would be the intimidation of men to women and the gender war that was there. I was really waiting for things to calm down, because that war was crazy. We even did a conversation on equality and equity, but it's a really hot conversation. So what do you have to say about intimidation of men to women, because it's happening a lot?
That is what is happening now. Yeah, and if you remember what was happening to the Voices Against Violence group family,
yes,
it was a hot discussion.
very.
And the men were very pissed. I don't know how to say it well, but they were pissed. The women were angry. Let's say ladies and
Yes,
guys.
yeah,
They were very angry because everyone wants to, let's say, tear their group, their
yeah,
women. The men want to tear their men, and it was crazy. I would
yeah,
say the gender inequality war
yeah,
or gender wars
yeah,
happen when we are not fighting the bigger the bigger giant. We're trying to fight gender-based violence, but let me not say gender-based violence. We're trying to fight violence
yes,
against people,
yes,
against men and women. And it becomes like, if only men become like this, and now when men are done like this, if only women do this.
yeah,
But more or less, it become, I like to say that it is something about, if only these people, this kind of people who have this type of mindset, because I have read and researched that those people who violate other people's privacy sexually, physically, emotionally, them as children, most times
yeah.
them as children were abused, and they do not know how to do it in a better way. I'm not saying
Ah,
all of them do. Some really crawl up in
yeah,
their space and become very emotionally damaged. But those that are angry and they're feeling hurt, like let's say a man is sodomized and he doesn't know what, um, especially by women. Let me say this because this happens.
yeah,
If a guy is sodomized by a lady,
yeah,
when he grows up, probably, not all, but
yeah,
probably, they come to hate women. And what kind of hate? They'll say anything of infliction that I'll put, if I want to, I'll rape every kind of lady that I'll be seeing in the dark alley or anyone, so
yeah.
that I inflict pain that I had. That will give me satisfaction.
Ah,
And the
okay.
women, because I have encountered many women who, yes, turned to be, I hate men forever,
Yeah,
and anything that happens to men that will be hurtful, it will cause me satisfaction. So
ah,
I'd like to say that these gender wars should happen on a term of these people that are, I would say, mentally sick, that do not want to see any peaceful human being
yeah,
walking around in a very in a peaceful area,
yeah,
to be checked upon,
yeah,
because it's not a gender person that oh, we are talking about men, please stop doing this, because especially now in the social media, let's say, many times when something happens, you have seen, like, there was this lady who was abused uh, just here in Kiambu,
yeah,
and then she died like 9 days later. And then now it became a gender war.
yeah,
That men, why are you doing this? Men, why are you like this? And sometimes it gives you, even you, it gives you the pain. Like, why are
yeah,
you saying men? I'm
yeah.
not like
It's a
them.
trigger.
Yeah, because I might come I tell you how I'm hurt, and then you'll
Yeah,
be like, but not all men. Then it
yes,
becomes an argument. I'm not saying that you're trying to tear your people now, and
yeah,
then you'll be like, women, now you're exaggerating. What's wrong with you? Because that is how the society has built up to be. We are
yeah,
going to inflict the pain against each other, and now we are going to turn against each other, and we'll never find a solution if
yeah.
we are fighting,
Definitely.
unless we are fighting the common giant, that is violence, the rape culprits, the violators, those ones. And the problem is when it becomes a gender war, when it goes to the court, when it goes to the people that are supposed to give them life sentences, they do not take it as serious, because they are going to see these people are bringing this person because they are bitter, not
Yeah,
because it happened, and it will be brushed off. Now, if it is given a good sentence, it will not be a gender war. It will be like, you guys, you have to straighten up. We have to do this so that we can make a better society
yeah,
in the future.
definitely.
Yes.
We would get this discussion would go on for hours and hours because there's always something to talk about.
Yeah.
But we'll have to end this episode at that point. And guys, if you want a part two, in the comment section, do tell us. And thank you so much for honoring me to come on this particular episode on My Talk with Daddy Africa.
Thank you.
And guys, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also share with family and friends. Kwaheri, tukutane tena.